Noriega. Two of Noriega's men give themselves up, and Australia's first fatal earthquake. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rattle reporting. Good evening. New word tonight of progress in negotiations to get Manuel Noriega out of the Vatican embassy in Panama and possibly into U.S. custody. CBS News has been told that talks in Rome between U.S. and Vatican officials are going better now and give some indication of a possible direction. One source close to the negotiations says U.S. officials believe their best scenario right now would have the Vatican embassy turn Noriega over to Panama's new president, Guillermo Endara. Endara then could deliver Noriega to U.S. custody to stand trial on drug charges. The Vatican insists it will not turn Noriega over to the U.S. The U.S. says it doesn't want Noriega sent to a third country. Whatever happens, these sources say, it is now more likely to happen in a matter of days, not hours. Richard Threlkeld is on the scene in Panama.
Good morning, Panama.
The Panamanian standoff at the papal nuncio's continued today with some musical accompaniment. For a second day, the U.S. command put up loudspeakers around the compound and turned up the military radio station's rock music full blast, apparently to prevent eavesdropping on any negotiations inside. Selections included No Place to Hide and Can't Stand the Heat. Manuel Noriega's entourage here is dwindling. Last evening, this man and another of Noriega's aides walked out and gave themselves up. Noriega's family, meantime, is reported to have taken refuge in the Cuban embassy here. U.S. authorities were initially worried that Noriega had taken control of the nuncio's residence, but the Vatican ambassador had taken precautions against that.
But the nuncio made out a note that if he were taken hostage or his people, that he allowed forced intervention to free the Vatican embassy.
In fact, though, the Vatican is still dictating the terms of Noriega's stay here. And Panama's President Endara is now preparing a new message to the Pope, outlining Noriega's crimes and arguing he doesn't deserve refuge because he's a criminal, not a political refugee. Things got even more tangled today when Panamanian officials indicated to CBS News that even if the Vatican allows Noriega to go to a third country, he'll need safe conduct out of Panama, and they won't permit that. They've now brought in more U.S. troops to surround the compound and brought in a battery of floodlights. Both Manuel Noriega and the GIs outside waiting for him seem to have settled in for a long stay. What you're watching now through the lens of our night camera is the compound itself. Somewhere in that building right now is Manuel Noriega, the ex-dictator of Panama, condemned to wait while others dictate his future. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, Panama City.
A joint U.S.-Panama task force estimates the U.S. invasion did more than $500 million damage to the Panamanian economy. More on that now from David Dow in Panama City.
They reopened the banks in Panama today with a fresh source of funds. Nearly $6 million in confiscated cash from the homes and offices of General Manuel Noriega. But that is mere pocket change for the recovery job awaiting El Chorrillo, the devastated barrio that paid the heaviest price to get rid of Panama's dictator.
All we hear is boom, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, boom.
It was here that the battle raged for Noriega's military headquarters, where Arturo Caton lost his business, his home, some relatives, and friends.
All of this for one man, and still don't get him? Explain that to me.
Block after block, the story is repeated.
Todo.
All gone after 40 years, says Carlos Mora, and it isn't just his tire shop he's talking about. The jobs of 5 employees are gone too, in a nation where more than 20% are already unemployed.
No work, no money, no food.
There are at least 2,000 homeless from El Chorrillo, many of them now living in a U.S.-operated refugee camp. They're still finding bodies in the rubble. A 5-year-old child was found here today, adding to a civilian death toll that's officially approaching 240 and probably much higher. Still, there's an amazing reservoir of goodwill for the U.S. in El Chorrillo.
Chorrillo is very happy Noriega gone.
But residents also expect the Americans to move quickly to help them. Today, the only relief from the problems of El Chorrillo came from U.S. field rations and some imported wine from the wreckage of Noriega's former headquarters. Relief from the shambles that used to be homes. David Dow, CBS News, Panama City.
The ground shook today down under. A powerful earthquake rocked southeastern Australia, knocking down buildings, killing at least 11 people, and injuring more than 120. It was the first fatal earthquake ever in Australia. The quake registered 5.5 on the Richter scale. It was felt from Melbourne to Sydney. Hardest hit, the old steel mill city of Newcastle, about 75 miles north of Sydney and just a few miles east of the epicenter. The quake hit at mid-morning, flattening dozens of buildings, igniting gas fires at a huge steel plant, and even causing damage to the largest hospital in town. Doctors treated the injured on the lawn outside. By far the most severe damage was to the Newcastle Workers Club, a union hall where dozens of night shift workers and retired union members were relaxing. The roof of the building collapsed, crushing cars and people in an underground parking garage. Rescue workers struggled to buttress a swaying retaining wall adjoining the garage. Aftershocks were common.
Terrible.
Tonight, damage is estimated to be at least $1 billion. Northwest Airlines in this country is notifying passengers booked on Saturday's Flight 51 from Paris to Detroit of a bomb threat. The Federal Aviation Administration confirms that it's working to ensure extra security for that flight. Northwest says it went public partly because the threat was so specific. Airlines and the FAA have been criticized ever since the bombing of Pan Am 103 a year ago. Passengers on that flight were never told of a bomb threat, even though some U.S. diplomats quietly were told. FBI officials said tonight that they have reason to believe a letter taking responsibility for the wave of parcel bombings in the South may be authentic. Few details are being released about the letter received by CBS station WAGA in Atlanta. It reportedly complains about federal judges and makes threats against some individuals. The FBI says those individuals have been warned. So far, the bombings in the South have killed 2 people, a federal judge in Alabama and a civil rights lawyer in Georgia. Still to come on your CBS Evening News, other news of this fast fading year, and Bob Schieffer on the fading decade, the 80s remembered.
American Family, first to bring you the biggest multi-million-dollar prizes in sweepstakes history. $2 million. Again and again. The first $10 million prize. Another $10 million prize. And now, our biggest prize of all, $20 million. There's never been a prize this big before. $20 million. Don't miss out. Watch for the only sweepstakes with my picture and enter at once. Hurry.
It may be Red Lobster's most perfect meal. Petite Danish lobster tails. The sweetest ever. Plus flame-broiled shrimp. Delicious. Next, sizzling scampi. All this lobster and shrimp on one plate. Perfectly priced. Just $8.95 for a few weeks.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
And for the holidays, call for party platters to go. Ready in just 1 hour.
What's in a name? The Kemper name means the security of solid insurance protection. For your life, home, business, and auto. Even reinsurance protection. But Kemper's more than insurance. It's Kemper financial products, like mutual funds, annuities, and money market funds. Working to bring you better tomorrows. Insurance and investments. Ask for them by name. Kemper.
Another turning point in Czechoslovakia's mostly peaceful breakaway from hardline communist rule and personal vindication for Alexander Dubček, today elected Speaker of Czechoslovakia's parliament. It was unanimous. In 1968, Dubček presided over the movement to give socialism a more human face in Czechoslovakia. Soviet Red Army tanks rolled in, put him out of office, and reimposed the old line, hard line for another 20 years until now. The older brother of executed Romanian leader Ceausescu was found hanged today. His body discovered at the Romanian embassy in Vienna where he worked. Apparently suicide. In Romania, 3 more of Ceausescu's relatives were arrested at a hideout at the family's old hometown. Romania's new governing coalition made a nationwide appeal for calm and rebuilding. In Timișoara, birthplace of the Romanian Revolution, many try to comply, even as they grieve for the dead. Correspondent Alan Pizzi is there.
They buried Kellerman George today. Only 23, he died on Christmas, shot by a sniper at the TV station where he worked. Kellerman's mother said he was murdered by the dictator Ceausescu. No one knows how many people died in the revolt which began here in Timișoara. Figures of tens of thousands seem exaggerated. The pain and grief are real enough. But there is also a newfound enthusiasm for rebuilding the country. One eye is crying, this woman says, but the other is laughing. At her motor winding factory, they're working double shifts, in effect bringing to life the energy that under communism existed only as posters and slogans.
Everything's changed. The people, everything. Now we work for us, not for this dictator.
Those who seek a share of the new power set up committees, even for press conferences that impart little information, but are an insight into how hard it is to learn democracy. People here are slowly beginning to realize that getting rid of the Ceausescus didn't solve all their problems. Said one man, what we need now are some good leaders who know how to run things. But the only people with experience were part of the old order, and many of them are still in place. There is a fear that some hated security men have gotten away and are now pretending to be patriotic civilians. Outside the military headquarters, people wait in the cold for a glimpse of anyone captured and brought in. They've lit so many candles for the victims that makeshift shrines are now pools of wax and oil. Tanks still stand guard. The hated past remains too fresh in memories for anyone to feel completely comfortable about the future. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Timișoara.
All over Bucharest today, people were shouting about democracy, taking delight in disorder. In one building, writers were rising from the underground, formulating their demands in a country where until yesterday, you needed a license to own a typewriter. In another smoke-filled room, students were voting on what to call their new union in a university where until yesterday, smoking and voting were both against the law.
We try to build now. That's it.
In this housing development, people were walking to their well this morning. They have no running water or heat or indoor plumbing that works, and the outdoor toilets have not been completed. A peasant woman forced into this place last March said she could still not believe 2 miraculous events: the death of Ceausescu and the fact that she actually bought meat this morning. Other miracles were visible in the streets of Bucharest, people buying real coffee for the first time in 10 years. The provisional government announced no more rationing, no more food exports to the Soviet Union. Another export will be stopped: Romanian children. Under Ceausescu, orphans were a cash crop to be sold for adoption in the West. Abortions were illegal, the orphanages were full. Those not sold were prepared from birth to join the secret police. One of Ceausescu's policies came back to haunt him. In 1967, he outlawed birth control to increase the size of his empire. The baby boom he created, today's students and young workers, are the people who took to the streets and clamored for his downfall. The police were being hunted down in the streets today and below, in the vast network of tunnels which everyone knew existed, which no one outside the palace guard had ever seen before. Ordinary people were seeing things and each other differently. As of today, they are not required by law to call each other comrade anymore. Bob Simon, CBS News, Bucharest.
There are very few guarantees in medicine. But if you have arthritis pain like I do, you should know about Mediprin and the Mediprin guarantee. If 2 Mediprin don't relieve minor arthritis pain better than 2 regular aspirin, you get your money back. Strong promise, strong medicine. The medicine that concentrates the power of ibuprofen into these potent little caplets. The medicine that guarantees better relief than regular aspirin. Better arthritis pain relief. That's the Mediprin guarantee.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
Why do I enjoy Alpine Lace, low cholesterol, and lower in sodium cheeses? Because they're so delicious. And I take care of myself.
Take care of yourself. Delicious Alpine Lace, low cholesterol, and lower in sodium cheeses.
If you'd like to win $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse, do what these $10 million winners do.
Enter. Don't put it in the garbage like my neighbor over here.
Really, what do you have to lose?
The Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes.
It pays to enter.
In the wake of the record Christmas freeze, Florida Governor Bob Martinez today declared the entire state a disaster area. The governor acted after a tour of freeze-damaged vegetable farms. The weekend freeze hit hard at both the citrus belt and vegetable crops. Also, wholesale vegetable prices already have begun climbing. Mountain areas of America are in the midst of the ski season, with some resorts jammed by vacationing college students taking advantage of special low-priced packages. However, there is a deadly downside to the burst of skiing's popularity in this country, and Scott Pelley has been looking into it.
As America's 17 million skiers march to the mountains this season, they are returning to a sport that has fundamentally changed.
2 adults.
Now, with the price of admission, there is new responsibility. On crowded slopes, collisions are increasing, and some fast runs are ending in jail. Last winter, 11-year-old Carrie Myler was struck down while standing beyond an active ski slope.
She had irreversible brainstem damage, and it was just a matter of time before her heart would quit.
Carrie Myler's heart stopped the next day. And since then, Colorado authorities have taken a very different view of reckless skiing. For the first time, the local district attorney took a 10-year-old safe skiing law and went to the grand jury.
No sane person, no person with any care for others' welfare would have entered that kind of an area at that rate of speed.
Howard Heidel pleaded no contest to charges of negligent homicide. He was sentenced to 1 month in jail, 400 hours of community service, and must pay $15,000 to the Myler family.
Lady, watch out! What are you doing? What are you doing?
The most serious ski injuries result from collisions. Drinking and drugs are part of the reason. But even more significant is the tangle of skiers with different abilities merging on crowded slopes.
Slow it down! Make them turn!
They get up speed, they think that's great, yet they can't stop.
You shouldn't have to go on a vacation with 3 perfectly healthy, beautiful children and only come home with 2 of them.
In a few weeks, Colorado is scheduled to prosecute its second reckless skiing case. 8-year-old Russell Whitman's leg was shattered in a collision.
I thought he was dead. I mean, it was a full-grown, mature man flying out of the sky.
That man, Terrence Coughlin, is now charged with reckless endangerment and child abuse.
Slow it down through here, please!
The ski industry hopes these high-profile cases will have an impact on the nation's slopes, that the threat of prosecution will prevent the kind of recklessness that turns sport into crime. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Grand County, Colorado.
For over 100 years, in countless warm and friendly places, it's been Miller time. At Miller, we're proud to have always brewed our beer carefully and responsibly. And that's how we'd like you to drink our beer, carefully and responsibly. So the next time you're having any one of our beers, the next time it's Miller time for you, we'd like to ask you to do one very simple thing. Be responsible. Think when you drink.
Every detail means a lot to me, so I can't stop for minor arthritis pain. I used to take aspirin, but today it's Advil. It gives me hours of relief, yet Advil's gentler to my stomach than aspirin. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Heartburn. I was on fire. Right here.
2.2.
I never tried Riopan.
2.2.
Then I remember my doctor telling me about it.
2.2 seconds.
I didn't have all day to feel better.
Lab tests show Riopan Plus 2 starts neutralizing acid on stomach contact in just 2.2 seconds because Riopan has megaldrate, a special dual-action formula.
Riopan got me back on track. Fast.
Remember 2.2. Remember Riopan.
There's never been an offer like this before. Now, for the first time, for 45 days only, the world's best-selling minivans are on sale. $1,000 rebates on 1990 Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager. Offer ends January 31st.
Well, there are just 3 days left in this decade, but as Bob Schieffer reminds us, the events and ideas of the 80s will be an enduring influence.
Remembering the 80s, and we get an idea of just how extraordinary this decade was when we consider some of the words we came to know over the past 10 years. Before the 1980s, we didn't know the meaning of the word glasnost or yuppie or computer virus or the verb fax. The 80s presented its own set of challenges, and to help us identify them, we've called on the talents of the students here at Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School in New York.
Throughout these 10 years, it's been a total disregard for human lives. Too many new drugs coming out.
Pollution is getting worse and worse.
Pesticides on all of our food.
Televangelism.
The killing of innocent animals.
I think the police system has to be much stronger.
The color barrier, I think.
Everyone should have the availability of going to a good college.
If the United States goes to war, nothing will ever happen for us. We're the kids, we're the next generation.
The 1980s have been born in turmoil, strife, and change.
We can and will protect each country of Central America from the danger of war.
The Soviet Union prepares to bury its third leader in 28 months.
American lives are at stake in Grenada.
The battle for the Falklands is over. Britain celebrates victory.
The earthquake hit with a force brutally jolting Mexico City.
Earthquake devastation in Soviet Armenia.
The Bay Area's worst quake since 1906.
Just put your hand on my tissue. You feel it pumping like everything.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Go ahead. Make a wish. I wish I were big.
Substance there at pine tar.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I'll have what she's having.
9 persons killed. The Miami Police Department is utilizing all of its resources.
It's a war zone. There's a war going out there.
We fired a minimum of 106 rounds.
Children should not have to die in American schoolyards.
A man walked into the crowded McDonald's restaurant carrying an automatic rifle.
There's a crazy man in there shooting.
All we have saved is give peace a chance. Come on! All we have saved, the fact is give peace a chance.
And the winner, the teacher who will be going into space, Krista McAuliffe. Where's that you?
We bid you goodbye. We will never forget you.
Such events always seem to be etched into our memories, but this was also a decade of momentous international events. It began as one American president called the Soviet Union an evil empire, but came to a close as another American president called for an end to the Cold War. We'll have more on those past events that reshaped our future tomorrow night. I'm Bob Schieffer in New York.
And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather for CBS News. There'll be a CBS News Review of the Year at 10 tonight, 9 Central Time, on many of these stations. We hope you'll stay tuned now for 48 hours. This evening, it's Crystal City, USA. A look at the coast-to-coast craze for a dangerous new drug. That's 48 hours at 8 o'clock, 7 Central Time. So see you again here soon.
Our Volunteer of the Year is Doris Craig.
It's terrific how Depend changes people's lives. And now there is a terrific change in Depend elastic leg undergarments. It's called AbsorbLock, a unique leakage protection system that locks in 25% more. It'll do wonders for your confidence and get you back into life.
Thank you so much.
Get back into life with Depend. Now with AbsorbLock protection.
You're watching Bob Castleberry at the actual moment he found out he won $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse.
This is fabulous.
Now get this. The only reason Bob won the $10 million is because the first person who received the winning number never sent it in.
Oh, my gosh.
Was it you who threw away $10 million last time? Make sure someone else doesn't get your $10 million this time. A new $10 million super prize can be yours if you stop what you're doing and enter the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes now.
Now, for a limited time, get a guaranteed rebate at your Jeep and Eagle dealer. If the rebate increases on your eligible vehicle after January 31st, you'll get a check for the difference. No other car company has ever done that. The guaranteed rebate from the Chrysler Corporation. See your Jeep and Eagle dealer now. Offer ends soon.
A deadly new drug craze, a homemade crisis that could hit your home next. What will the next 48 hours be like tonight?
This is CBS.